So before we get into the meat of this, I just gotta say one thing, because I kind of been seeing already since this chapter came out, comments floating around, people saying, Super BS, box power, where the fuck that came from? I think it's been hinted that all the Sternritter, including Bach, have a special ability. Yeah, I will 100 billion% agree with you guys that it is overpowered hacks as fuck on that Eisen shit, but just even more, because I mean, you can see the fucking future and basically morph it around with these multiple pupils or whatever. But the fact that people are complaining, where did this power come? I mean, hello, that's been the thing with every Sternritter that has been to date. They all have their abilities. This one is overpowered as fuck, but yeah, I don't get why people are saying like, where did this power come from? They all have their own abilities. Yeah. So at the beginning of this chapter, we get a little bit more explanation as far as that Bach, the reason why he never came into action and everything is because he had to have his eyes closed for the past 9 years. So that's kind of also filling in some gaps of people saying, well, why did Bach only attack now? Well, the past 9 years, he couldn't really do anything, and it's not up until this moment that he actually could. And I'm glad that it also solidified the fact that he actually had, you know, his eyes closed and needed to have them closed for this long, because if not, all the Sternritter would have immediately vanished and given him the power, and he wouldn't be able to use Almighty anymore. So I'm glad that at the very least it solidified that, so we don't gotta wonder, well, you know, that design is fucking a little freaky now with his eyes, how he has like 2 pupils, 2 circles inside of each eye, like, wow. So I'm guessing one eye just as, you know, normal vision, and then the other eye is literally seeing the future of what's gonna happen. Bach definitely at this particular point, he is hacked as a motherfucker. He's getting to that level of like Madara, and I hope at the very least Kubo can come up with a legit way at some point for Bach to be beaten, because I don't see how can you defeat somebody that can see the future. How do you defeat somebody that knows exactly what you're gonna do, what's your power, what's your ability, unless you come up with some shit like, he was so magnificent that even Bach couldn't see what he was about to do, or something like that. And even then, like, no matter how fast you are, he can see the future. So you can be at Mach 10 billion speed, but he can see the future. But then again, at the same time, just because you can see the future doesn't necessarily mean that you can always prevent things, although it just seemed a little bit next level with this, you know, ability that Bach has, Almighty. Ichibei looking fucking creepy as always in this chapter, basically saying, aha, just because you can see, you can't get out of my darkness or whatever. And in all honesty, it looked as though Ichibei was a villain or something. Like, the power that he has, controlling darkness and everything that Ichibei has done up till now as far as his powers go, he kind of reminds me of like a villain. Like, I wouldn't be surprised, and it would be crazy as fuck, but who the fuck knows? Maybe the Zero Division this entire time were a group of villains or not good people or something, because Ichibei's powers, like, it could just be the design itself, and, you know, that's what Kubo decided to go with, but they just seemed very villainous. It seems like, you know, a mustache twirling motherfucker would have these kind of fucked up, creepy ass powers. Who knows? Maybe Bach and Aizen both had the same mindset that the Zero Division, they were not good people and they needed to go. And the thing with Bach's power as well is that everything in his vision becomes powerless. So was that metaphorically speaking, like, oh, I can see the future, I can make sure your power doesn't work, or was that legit that he can see the future and also make you powerless because he knows how to avert it, like basically from using these eyes? It's like, definitely want a little bit more of a clear explanation, but my gosh, again, from what I said last week, we knew Ichibei was gonna fall. I think he should have probably fallen last week, but Kubo wanted to fucking cut the motherfucker up. I don't know, Kubo was watching some Dexter right now or some shit, because the ending panel with Ichibei, I don't know what the fuck happened to him. It looked as though like his body was flying in pieces, because you see like a piece, it looks like the fucking connecting thing to the back of his head. I was like, ew. And as cool as it was, and the way Bach has been built up till now, he's definitely a very credible threat and beyond. Again, he's kind of OP at this particular point. It was definitely a case of, I'm OP, I got you in my grasp. No, I'm OP, I've got you in my grasp, but I'm OP, I've got you in my grasp, but no, I'm OP. So yeah, in that aspect, nothing like, you know, out of this world that we haven't seen before as far as like, you know, them one-upping each other or whatever. But the way Kubo ultimately did it, I'm just glad that neither one of them, I can say, oh, turned out crusty, or, oh, this guy, he was fucking shit, or anything like that. They both ultimately held their own up until the very end. Bach just had way more trump cards, and I'm wondering, when was it within this 9-year period that he could finally open his eyes? Has it been this entire war he could open his eyes? Because remember, he had to rush back to the Von den Rick a while ago, so was it that at that particular point he still couldn't open his eyes and he needed to go back? What's up with that? But poor fucking Ichibei, like, Jesus Christ. Well, I don't know if I should say poor Ichibei, because he went out like a fucking boss, and at the same time, he just felt so fucking sinister. character, but yeah, he got fucking exploded, bruh. So good stuff, definitely good stuff. Not the most, again, I understand it's like, oh, I'm better, whatever, but at the very least, it was like, it built up Bach to be a beyond credible threat. It's like, how the fuck do you stop something like this at this point? And it kind of got me a little bit worried at the same time. It's like, I don't want it to be no ass pull how Bach is defeated. It better have a, legit explanation to this. And I wouldn't be surprised if, at some given point during this arc, Bach is the new Soul King or something. Like, because what's stopping him now? Now that Ichibei is gone, which was the last line of defense, he could go straight to the Soul King. And if the Soul King doesn't have any type of power, and that's why he had those guards in place, then yeah, by the time Ichigo arrives there, Bach is going to be sitting on the throne with a crown on his head. So I'm leaning between 7.5 to an 8. I more so want to go with an 8 because I do think this was a seriously badass fight. It was brutal. Bach outsmarted Ichibei at the last second. And yeah, I felt it was very good shit. Let me know what you thought of this chapter. What do you think about Ichibei's fucking body flying piece by fucking piece? And what do you think about Bach's power? I definitely would say, I mean, how can you argue that that's not over fucking power? Like, how do you stop that? He can see the future and render you powerless. And your thoughts of this chapter. What do you think about the Ichibei versus Bach fight? Definitely one of the best fights in the entirety of Bleach 2014. I don't see anything really that had that same level of intensity. I had thought in Komamura, but Komamura was actually at the end of last year, which Komamura's fight was amazing. But this year is like, maybe Rukia getting her Bankai was a more bigger moment, but this was the best fight. Like, nothing really was at this caliber of like craziness. And here are thoughts of the chapter, but that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, if you could do so as well, that'd be awesome. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.